Okay, hi. It's Friday afternoon at 3:05. I'm actually a little late with this video today, um, but this is the first in the series of weekly videos that you'll get from me that talk a little bit about the week that just passed and gives you an introduction into the week that's coming up. First off, I'd just like to say that I was very pleased with the level of participation in the discussion forums this week. Um, there was a lot of interesting thoughts and dialogue back and forth between you, and I hope that that'll continue throughout the course. Um, you may notice the background. I'm at my home office today. This used to be my daughter's bedroom, but she's grown and gone now, so I use it as my home office. So let's see here. Just as a recap of last week, there were three things that I hope that you were able to, here, yeah, three major themes that I hope you were able to focus on as we went through the week. The first is that nonprofits are businesses, right? If you don't have revenues that keep coming in that are greater than expenses, you're going to go out of business. And if you don't have any money, well, then you can't operate and you can't maximize your mission. The second piece that we related to that we talked about a lot this week was that the environment in which you operate is really, really tough. And so it's not easy to run a nonprofit as a business that always has revenues that are greater than or equal to your expenses. So it really takes a lot of forethought and a lot of um, time and effort to make sure that the financial decisions that you make will always keep your organization in a good financial position so that it can have money, so that it can maximize its mission. Okay? Then we have the second part here. Um, and in order to be able to remain a viable financial organization, Zietlow and yours truly, I think it's really important that you identify and establish an approximate liquidity target. And as we talked a little bit in our discussions, right, the liquidity target is nothing more than an amount of your nest egg, security blanket, stash of cash that you want to cash or assets that can easily be converted to cash that you want to keep in your bank. Um, this is for two reasons that we discussed, right? The first one here is for the financial emergency, and the emergency is going to come. It's not a question of if it's going to come. It will come, whether that's a grant that gets canceled or a government contract that gets canceled at um, mid cycle, if you will, or mid contract, not because of anything you did wrong, but simply the state runs into a financial crunch and they decide, oops, can't do any more spending, got to cut that contract. Um, or, some other reason a donor doesn't come through that you thought was going to come through. The financial crises are going to come. So just like in your personal life, you need a little nest egg on the side, some money in the bank that makes it possible for you to sleep at night because you have some money to cover the crisis that's going to come. You need to have it in your organization as well. And the second really important piece that has to do with having some money in the bank is that it allows you to actually be an independent organization, right? If you're always dependent upon your funder for the next amount of money to do the next thing that you want to do as an organization, then you really are not an independent organization. You're essentially a service and delivery arm of your funder. And there's a real difference there between uh, really being independent and as a CEO and as a board, being able to pursue opportunities and to maximize your mission as you see fit, and always having to grovel to your funder in order to get money to do what you think you want to do. Okay, we'll talk about that more throughout the program, and certainly in this course as well. And then finally, the last point is that, what does it say? You attain liquidity through operating surpluses. Okay, that's basically getting more money in revenues than you spend in your operations. Now, I know many of you just came out of two introductory courses that stressed philanthropy and its importance in our society and in funding nonprofits. And I'm not here to disagree with that or to denigrate or to diminish the importance of philanthropy in our society and in the funding of nonprofits. But this is a financial decision-making course, and this course will stress the importance of generating profit, frankly, from your operations. And that actually leads into one of the elective courses, Social Enterprises, if you want to pursue this line of thought further. But in this class, when you need extra funds, or if we're discussing how to get unrestricted revenues, if you fall back on the possibility, and it's real, that you get a grant or an unrestricted donation for your endowment from a rich donor, while that's possible, it's not going to fly in this course, because this course is about how you run your nonprofit as a business in order to generate operating surpluses. Okay? Okay, so that's what you should have gotten from week 1, those 3 points. Okay? So we now are into week 2, and we're going to start or continue the discussion about your financial system. Okay? The processes and the accurate and useful information that you need to have in place in order to make sound financial decisions. Okay? And this financial system has 4 points to it. And we'll be talking about each of these 4 points over the next couple of weeks. So it won't be a linear discussion, but these are the 4 things you have to make sure you know about. One is the organizational structure, like who gets financial information, who's responsible for what aspects of the financial decision-making process. That includes your board and your senior management and some program directors, some of your external stakeholders. We'll talk about that in particular in this week too. Okay? We'll then be talking about policies and procedures on how you handle your money, how you again handle what policies are in place for making financial decisions and for handling revenues and making expenditures. We'll also then, particularly in the coming weeks, talk about record keeping and financial reports, right? How do you organize information about what you're doing with your money and what you're doing and what financial decisions you're making? I'll have to keep track of all that, and there's a particular way of doing that, and we'll be talking about that. And then lastly, we touched upon that this week, this notion that your financial and operational strategies have to support one another and complement one another. If your financial decisions or if your financial strategies and your operational strategies start to diverge, well, then you're going to have that problem that you'll have no money or you'll have no mission, right? Mission and money are intertwined, And so your financial strategy and your operational strategies have to be intertwined. Okay? And we'll talk about that as well. So all of this won't be touched upon this week, but I want to make sure you have this framework in your head as we proceed through the next couple of weeks so that you can put the pieces into their different boxes there. Okay? Okay, and then the last thing in general is this little sheet here. All right? What I'm trying to say there, and I hope you were able to read it there in the pause, is that don't get lost in the numbers for the numbers' sake, so to speak. The importance of financial information, financial data, financial reports, is that they can tell you a story about the financial health and position of your organization. And what you, as a senior officer of the organization, not necessarily the CFO and the accountant, but as the CEO or the senior or member of the senior team, you need to understand the story that the numbers are telling you. And we'll start actually thinking about that this week in our Tri-City case study, a very simple case study assignment that's due on Friday that talks a little bit about cash flow and is a demonstration of the power of the Excel spreadsheet, if you're not familiar with that. And but this notion of understanding the story that financial numbers and reports tell is very important to your ability to make good financial decisions. Okay, I went through my notes here. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, so thanks for listening. 12 minutes, a little longer than usual. And I will look forward to talking with each of you individually during week 3 when we have individual phone calls. But if you want to call me before then, if you're having any concerns or issues, please do so. The course starts out at a very elementary level, but it moves really quickly. Okay, I think the other thing I wanted to say is that the second assignment for this week is essentially a vocabulary test, but a vocabulary of financial terms. If we're going to, understand the story that the numbers and reports tell, then we have to learn the language of those reports, and part of that is understanding financial nomenclature. Okay, and that's what your readings in the Accounting Made Easy book is about this week. Make sure that that first chapter that's assigned and required, that you understand those terms well and those definitions well. The rest of the book is sort of there as a resource that you can draw on over time as you run into some of those other issues or circumstances where you'll need to know some of the terms in more detail. Okay, I guess that's it. 14 minutes right there. Okay, so take care. And do you know my phone number? I hope so. It's on the syllabi. 413-237-7475. Okay? Okay, that's my cell phone, so don't be afraid to use it. Okay, bye-bye.